Show, and Frank B.
And I'm Mark.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mark for opening this season's show last time. And I'm here. And unfortunately, this is going to be my last show for a while. I got family business to take care of. So I'd like to thank everybody for supporting the show. We're going to go into 30 years. Mark is going to be doing the next couple shows. Everybody enjoy Han Solo. From what we heard is it's doing pretty good with the reviews and everything like that. But what I want to do is talk about the box office, how things are really changing. Being on for 30 years, things have really changed from when we first started doing the show. So what we're going to do is a little bit different. The topic will be about the box office, but we got a bunch of movie reviews. Since he mentioned a couple movies about what did I think of Pacific Rim #2, what did I think about Rampage, what did I think about
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go talk about the box office, and then little footnotes. We're going to mix it in with some reviews. For example, let's go right into the thing here. Okay, now box office here. What's really interesting is that everybody heard about Movie Pass, right? And the company had a great idea where you buy a Movie Pass and you can see practically a film every day. You buy a Movie Pass, like what was it, like $20 they had it?
It was like $10 a month.
$10 a month. They're going bankrupt already. And a lot of it had to do with the theater chain because they don't want that thing to be running. And basically, I think that's pretty stupid for one main reason. Nobody's going to the movies. Box office. Go to Box Office Mojo. All the proof is right there. Bunch of articles. Variety Magazine. Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood's in complete denial. I mean, the ratings for Hulu and Netflix are going through the roof to the point where even the regular networks are kind of like, you heard what 20th Century Fox did. They dumped a lot of their shows because they want to make room for the football games. Thursday night in LA.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so they got rid of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep.
Oh, well, too bad. It wasn't
the Last Man on Earth.
That show sucked.
Yeah, they're all pretty much shows that nobody was watching.
Yeah, so they got rid of them. But okay, let's go back. Well, see, that's the state of affairs, okay? And when the resurrecting the dead. Roseanne, Will and Grace, that it started with another Full House.
Yes.
A couple years ago. So there's a lot more shows from the 90s, from the 80s and 90s. They're coming back, believe it or not.
Right. And one of the ones I was talking about when you were here last week, I did a special show, 10 seconds, for YouTube. It's going to be, hopefully it'll be up by the end of this week or so. It was for YouTube, and it was an extra 10, and I was talking about The Karate Kid, how they brought that back.
Right.
A show that was like, a movie was like 30 years ago?
A movie, I think it had like 2 sequels, I think.
Yeah, but it was basically all generated about within the first movie. The second and third were like completely wiped away, like it didn't really happen.
Right.
So I was looking.
Ignore that, right?
Yeah, they ignored it, completely ignored it. It's all about Sweep the Leg Johnny.
Okay.
It's not about the second one where he goes to Okinawa. It's not about the third one he comes back from Okinawa. No, it's all about Sweep the Leg Johnny and what's going on with Sweep the Leg Johnny.
Okay, and that's a huge hit.
Yeah, it's a huge hit, and they're doing second season. Once it dropped that same day, they said our revenue started going up on YouTube Red, and boom, it's exploded. I was thinking, since I saw YouTube was doing another thing, that they were making fun of another show from our childhood. I think it was Saved by the Bell.
Right.
So I'm thinking about maybe they should bring back Saved by the Bell. 30 years later, what happened with Zach? Because in this show, Saved by the Bell, it was hysterical. They were doing a show where where they're basically saying that, what do you call that? That Zach Morris is trash.
Right.
And they basically break it down how unscrupulous he really was, how he used his friends. So I would like to see them do a show, if not on YouTube, Netflix, pick it up, because this is a moneymaker. They can pick it up where they just show that he hasn't changed, that he completely is still garbage.
You'll probably be the only one watching that show.
It would be amazing, because you could imagine what would happen with this guy. Saved by a Bell was a big hit on television.
Yeah, it was a
huge
big hit.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loved it. They said they went to the shopping, to the malls to do autograph signing one time. it was a mobbed, completely mobbed.
That was a big hit back in the day. For me,
oh my God.
But the good thing about TV, cable, streaming, whatever you want to call it, okay?
Yeah, it's convenient.
The big news, and this is like the best news for me for the year.
Yes.
Rick and Morty, they signed up for at least 7 more seasons, believe it or not.
What? Amazing.
Like over 200 episodes or something like that, because everybody's wondering how come they're not getting renewed, and everything was kind of quiet. And the guy said, well, it takes about a year to prep for all these things. And sure enough, I think Adult Swim is the channel, and they gave him the contract to do 7 seasons worth of shows. Good choice, guys. Okay, so that's what TV. What's happening with the movie? Well, let's be realistic. Box office of the year. Now, let's put Infinity War, which is in the top 5 worldwide already. Let's put Black Panther aside, okay? The only picture to make $150 million this year is A Quiet Place, the horror movie, believe it or not. Last year, by May and June, there was at least 6-7 movies, like Ghostbusters, the female version. People hated it, but it still made over $150 million. This year, only one picture, A Quiet Place, made 176.
I was going to say The Last Jedi.
No, was it? Yeah, A Quiet Place. I'm sorry, The Quiet Place. And then coming on 134 was Ready Player One. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And then, of course, 114 million, Peter Rabbit out of all things. Okay? So the box office is really off. Now, Quiet Place, I love the movie. See, this is what I'm going to stick in my reviews real quick. Quiet Place, now they're going to have a sequel about other people in other certain places. And they're not getting into specifics, but the director and the wife, you know that both of them were supposed to be, they auditioned for the Avengers, the husband and wife, Emily Blunt.
Oh, yeah.
And the husband...
And they didn't give Emily Blunt a role?
She auditioned for the Black Widow, and they passed on her.
Are they nuts?
Yeah.
They're nuts.
Because,
I hear a lot I'm sorry to say this, I'm interrupting you too. I'm so sorry to say this about Scarlett Johansson. And they say, oh my God, they talk about how great she is, how this and that. Folks, come on, please. You had Emily Blunt and you said no? Oh my
Scarlett
God.
Johansson is cute, but I do not want to see the Black Widow. It's
No.
not necessary.
No.
Sorry.
Well, if you had Emily Blunt, I would want to see the Black Widow.
You know what franchise she's got? Mary Poppins.
Oh, I thought she was. I thought she was going to do the Tom Cruise. What do you call it? Live, die, and repeat.
Right, the science fiction. She's still going to do that.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
With Tom Cruise. That guy.
They gave her Mary Poppins.
She got the Mary Poppins.
Is that a musical?
Yeah, Mary Poppins the musical. Remember Julie Andrews?
Can she sing?
She can sing and dance. She's very talented. Well, guess what?
Like Julie Andrews?
Because there's only one book. There was 8 books on Mary Poppins that were written. Like The Wizard of Oz, there was like 10, 12 books or something like that. Mary Poppins was actually 8 books. I think they made the 4th or the 5th book into the movie with Julie Andrews. Well, they're going to go back, revisit that, and then they're going to revisit all the books. So she's got at least 5, 6 movies in her.
I don't know. That's a good idea.
And that's Disney pushing that shit.
Yeah, but I don't even know that's even a good idea because Julie Andrews was like the cream of the crop.
Emily Blunt, I think
it's like
she can pull it off. I think she's the perfect choice.
It's like trying to find somebody better than Caruso or Pavarotti.
No, Emily Blunt can do it. I mean, first of all, she's English, and they're going to keep it that
Can
way.
she sing like
She can sing.
like Julie Andrews? Because Julie Andrews,
sing.
I think she basically won an Oscar for one of her performances.
Emily Blunt she's got theater training. A lot of people don't realize. The husband was in The Office. I forget his name. Sorry. He actually auditioned for Captain America. I know.
Which one?
That's a stretch.
Which
that's
one?
A stretch.
What actor was it?
The guy in her husband, A Quiet Place. The guy with the beard.
Oh, he's gonna be playing Shazam. I heard.
So, really?
Yeah, he's gonna be playing Shazam.
So he did nail a superhero role.
Yeah, he nailed a superhero role. And The Rock is the one that plays Nemesis, Black Adam.
Oh, okay.
Which is brilliant. They wanted him to play Shazam, but he said, no, I'd rather play the bad guy. The bad guy always has more depth. And now The Rock will be Black Adam. against
That
Shazam.
Will work. That will work.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one of my favorite movies by The Rock, Doom.
I couldn't. Oh, okay. So
Yes.
let's do a spin-off on that.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about The Rock. Okay.
Okay. The Rock.
Okay. I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna get
Yes,
to this.
yes,
I'm gonna
you
get to
get
this. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
talk about big creatures. Rampage, the video game. I
Yes.
got the
Awesome.
system.
Oh, The Rock. Huh?
Okay, The Rock, right?
That's what you're
Rampage.
trying to say.
A huge hit overseas. Over
Of
400
course.
million.
People
And
love
not getting a
people
sequel.
love gorillas. People love lizards, big lizards and big
Big
gorillas.
giant creatures smashing.
Oh yeah, destroying the cities.
I mean,
They love that.
the total for some strange reason he won the best picture. The last time I was here with Mark, we were talking about best picture. That Dunkirk and three billboards. Yeah,
yeah.
that movie. Anyway, all the actors got it like I predicted, but they gave it The Shape of Water. Now that Toto got his Oscar, maybe he can go and make his Godzilla film since he did Pacific Rim. Rampage. What do you think about Rampage?
I thought it was awesome. I thought The Rock really brought it to another level.
I love Joy the monkey. I think that was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
That's
Great
what I
motion
said.
cap, by the
People
way.
love gorillas. People just love them. That's what Stanley used to say. Every time he used to put a gorilla in Marvel, they said they would sell more comics.
You can't go wrong with a gorilla,
Yeah,
right?
people love them.
And talking about giant creatures,
Yes.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific
is
Rim.
Number 1, Pacific Rim number 2.
Awesome, awesome.
I was disappointed because the creatures took over the robots in the middle of the movie. I thought that was a cop out as far as the CG goes, but at least they fought one big giant creature at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with these
No,
movies.
not at all. I bought an action figure. I haven't been buying too many action figures, but I think I bought one of these. It was Red Phoenix from here.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so A Quiet Place. I think it was a great movie.
Did you see it?
Yeah, fun.
Okay.
I saw them over there in Puerto Rico. My master catch up on a lot of these things. So we're looking forward to a sequel for that. Pacific Rim. We don't know if we're gonna get a sequel to that. Even though he does have a couple of ideas, the director.
I would think it'd get a
It didn't do
sequel.
good. It didn't do good at the box office.
Did
over
it do
here.
good in China?
No, believe me, they got tired of it.
Oh shoot!
They got tired of robots. Yeah.
No way.
They got that, and then there's still no love for Star Wars.
Of course, yeah.
Compared to Infinity War, it cleaned up 200 million. It's going to probably make another 100 million in China
Wow.
alone. Again, talking about the box office. This year, international box office. Let's go over that real quick. Black Panther, Infinity War. I'll get to the review in a second. Number 3 is Operation Red Sea. It's China's version of modern day fighting military platoon, Saving Private Ryan. Well, you get the idea. It's a war movie, okay? Did huge overseas. Radio Player One is the only other American movie that did huge overseas, believe it or not.
Get out.
It did huge. Well,
How did it do here?
it tanked over here. They barely got their budget back.
I can see
the thing
that.
cost almost 200 million. I think they made
Yeah,
175,
I
but
can
it
see
made
that.
almost 500 million overseas.
Yeah, the way I saw it, my review for it. I'm gonna be real quick. Meh.
Yeah, I mean, I love the bookends. At the beginning, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. Beginning, the big gorilla, right, chasing the Batmobile.
Yeah.
and then
That was pretty funny.
a little cameo of the Mach 5 Speed Racer.
Yes.
At the end,
Back to the Future,
Back to the Future. Oh yeah,
the time machine, DeLorean.
the DeLorean, right? And then at the very end, you had a sort of Mechagodzilla fighting Iron Giant.
Yes.
Great bookends. The rest of the movie,
Right,
they just
yeah.
sank. I was like,
You know-
it became more of a big advertisement of Time Warner's catalog. That's all it was.
To sell these toys, probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Break them out with Funko Pops and sell them.
Yeah, okay. Funko Pops are fun though. Okay.
It's a way to generate buzz and say,
Exactly.
"Oh, look at that! I'm going to buy that."
Yeah, exactly.
And even when you
One big
go,
commercial.
yeah, and you see it was one big commercial because then when you go and see the bookstores and all these toys, you see Ready Player One Funko Pops all over the place. I'm like, yep,
They
that's what it's
sell.
all about. It's all about it's like when they say Star Wars. Star Wars made a certain amount of money, the first movie, but the toys cleaned up. It did like 3 or 4 folds of the amount of money. the toys.
Right. Except for the last film, The Last Jedi.
No, I'm talking about originally when Star Wars, the original Star Wars came out, when it was a blockbuster. It made so much money, they were amazed, and when they sold toys for it, the toy line made even more money, quadruple.
Well,
the movie did.
He's the one who started all that. Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
I guess.
20th Century Fox. They didn't want anything to do about merchandising, right?
Yeah, they thought it was tacky.
Yeah, that was tacky. Yeah,
But as soon as they saw the money,
everybody jumped on.
they were, oh, hey, it's not that tacky. Money is not that tacky.
And then actually, George Lucas said, he got all this a winery and all these fields of growing grapes, and he got into the wine business. And he bought all this property. I said, where you get the money for that? He said, action figures.
Yeah.
He had the last word. Hey.
Yeah, T-shirts sell.
And T-shirts sell. Yep. As a matter of fact, if I got to mention, even though I'm not going to be here, I still do movie reviews and updates. A lot of these articles about the box office is available on my blog. Just type in Videoland Express. Just Google it. Videoland Express/blog. Boom, it takes you right there. I talk about... We had the hurricane, and a lot of my old collectibles got washed out.
Oh, shoot.
Found 2 boxes that did not get touched. Well, they got wet, but they weren't destroyed and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
nice.
Believe it or not, I'm going to show pictures of the original 1970s collection, my Kenner collection of Star Wars. Remember the micro set?
Yes.
That were made like not metal, not aluminum, but some kind of material, whooper. I forget what they call it.
Lead?
It's something like lead, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were hand painted and everything like
Yeah,
that.
those have got to be lead.
Then that stuff survived, believe it or not.
Wow, it's amazing.
So I took pictures, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have those, believe it or not, on my on the next blog. As a matter of fact, do I have anything here? Let me see if we can-
But you know the funny thing, like we say about the merchandising, they said the biggest purchasers of that merchandise is our generation.
Yeah, because we can afford it.
Yeah, but
Well, some of us can.
even before we could afford it, like back in the 70s when they came out, we're the generation that interest piqued us, and we were the major consumers. And even to this point, we're still the major consumers. You know that?
Yeah, we are.
They brought us in from when we were kids buying that merchandise, or when we were 8 or 10 years old, all the way up, like Generation X. They brought us all the way up to this point. And now they said it's dropping off a bit because our generation is sort of slowly walking away from it.
Well, that's what's happening with the Star Wars movies, okay? Now, Han Solo is going to have his audience because our generation is going to back it up.
Yeah.
Then after that, what's going to happen is the audience is going to shrink. It's only going to be the new generation. And so that's why they got Ryan Johnson. We'll talk more about Star Wars, and then, well, you probably will when we get the chance. But what's happening is that's why they signed him up. Everybody got in his skates about Last Jedi. Wow, how he ruined Last Jedi. He got the memo for Kathleen Kennedy. There's somebody on YouTube who just rips into Kathleen Kennedy. She's the executive producer.
There's a lot of people on YouTube that do it.
Yeah.
And I watch those guys. They're the funniest people you've ever heard.
Those videos are funny. And
They're
really trashing that
hysterical.
She's ruining the whole franchise and everything like that.
They're selling shirts. They're attacking them. They have this one shirt that's funny. It's called Soilo. A Soilo story.
Yeah.
It is
Do you
so
see that,
funny.
folks? That is the Hoth playset.
Ah, nice.
The micro collection. I'll be posting that on my blog, so look out for that. Yeah. Because
And they even talk about how some people said that the 2 standouts in the Solo movie that I haven't seen as of yet are either Chewbacca or Lando Calrissian.
they say Lando steals the show.
But they said Chewbacca stealing the show too. Some people were saying that Lando was stealing the show, but others are saying Chewbacca is really the one stealing the show. And some people say, if anything, it's a Chewbacca story.
Really?
It's crazy. So like you have the 2 camps.
You know why? Because then nobody wants to talk about how the guy, Han Solo character, is completely miscast.
Yeah. Well, some people have compared him to our generation's Humphrey Bogart. That you can't replace Humphrey Bogart. You can't just hire somebody. Yeah, because Harrison Ford is amazing. And you put him, his charisma, he made anything profitable. Raiders of the Lost Ark, you put him in as Han Solo. His charisma, he's just amazing. He is truly like one of those older stars from that bygone era.
That's Jabba the Hutt playset, by the way. That survived. Yeah, I mean.
So if anything, if you're thinking about selling it now, I guess you better Do it now before they ruin Star Wars anymore, according to what they're saying. I don't think this way. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Well, that's why they hired Ryan Johnson to write the next trilogy. That way they can get the new audience and the old audience.
Wait, but didn't Ryan Johnson write The Last Jedi?
Yeah, he wrote The Last Jedi. Boy,
Okay, so then hire him to do the same thing, right?
He's gonna do
Okay,
the
so
same
sell your toys now.
Yeah,
If you have a collection, sell it now while it's still viable.
yeah, sell it on eBay, whatever you can
Yeah,
do.
before.
What you call it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, so he's writing the new trilogy also because they want the money made to be in China. If they come up with a brand new story, because don't forget, what happened with China was they never saw Star Wars, the original Star Wars. But then eventually I think they saw it on TV, but they couldn't relate to it. So who's this guy? Who's Luke Skywalker? Well, Luke Skywalker was the original Jedi, and he trained this guy, Han Solo's kid, and people say, soap opera, we don't want to hear it. We don't no love for Star Wars in China.
Right.
So they hired Ryan Johnson
To kill all the characters from the past and start anew.
start brand new.
So
Yeah.
like they used to say, you burn all your bridges down and start it all over again.
So,
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Now,
Yes.
I didn't get to show. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, if you go to my Instagram and you go to my blog, I'll be talking more about working as a background actor. I finally got my union status. Yep. And I'd like to thank Hugh Jackman because this, The Greatest Showman, this is the picture that should have been nominated for Oscars and they didn't get no love whatsoever. Idiots. Well, Hugh Jackman, along with this movie and Deadpool, he made over $1 billion last year. Not bad, huh? Okay, and apparently this is going to go to Broadway. I'll be talking more about this on my blog. But anyway, talk about Hugh Jackman and Greatest Showman. Frank, what's up with this guy in the back? Well, we know, that's right. Everybody's talking about Hugh Jackman and Deadpool.
Oh, no spoilers.
Now, well, no, I'm talking about the advertisements and all the commercial that Ryan Reynolds is doing as Deadpool. Remember the one where he's singing in the bed and
Right.
he's saying Hugh Jackman? And
Yes.
He's trying to talk to the audience and Deadpool's there. He's trying to get Hugh Jackman in the third movie or do something about how they can get together because Hugh Jackman died. Spoiler alert, Logan, hello.
Oh, no.
But like everybody's talking about Infinity War. I loved Infinity War. Quick review on that. Infinity War. Let me go back one more movie, and that is the Black Panther. What do you think of it, real quick?
I thought it was great. It was awesome.
It's number 3 in the box office. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I think it's overrated. But, and I said this a long time ago, this is 42, the Jackie Robinson story. And Chadwick does an excellent job. He should have been nominated for actor. Another film I recommend, Get On Up, the James Bond story. Dan Aykroyd is in this one. Oh, I forgot to mention 42, Han Solo. Yes, Harrison Ford is in this, playing his a manager or
Right.
coach. Excellent movie. Excellent movie. Everyone, I'll give my
Yeah, I think Harrison Ford was an owner in that one.
Right, my mistake. He was an owner.
That's right.
And this one I just saw last night, Marshall.
Yeah. Thurgood Marshall, right?
With Judge Gadd.
The judge.
He's probably known as the guy who did the carrot. No, the snowman with the carrot. Frozen.
Oh, Frozen. George, yes, Frozen.
Right.
He was in that show, The Comedians, you said you didn't like.
Right. He was fantastic in this movie. Okay, I was really surprised. Dramatic acting.
Yeah.
Again, Chadwick should have been nominated. Movie just came and went. Excellent movie. I'm just glad for him that he got the Black Panther role. And I hope he gets $40 million for the next 2 Black Panther pictures like Robert Downey Jr. did.
I don't know because
He deserves it.
the
He's an
whole
excellent actor.
he is, but the whole thing is the reason why Iron Man was excellent is because everything was working against it for it to fail, and since he's such a great improv, he made it succeed, right? And then you got to remember the next 2 Iron Man movies weren't that great. It just started plummeting after that. It's sort of like they say, it's a magician. Once you pull the rabbit out of the hat, it's sort of hard to, maze people after that.
Right, and some people say how can Infinity War, the next sequel, whatever that title is going to be, the Avengers number 4.
Yeah, I
Avengers
guess
4
so.
they're calling it, right.
Yeah.
Because this is number 3. How they're going to top it, and there's so many ways to improve it. Deadpool, they improved it. With all the jokes. I mean, there's so many DC references and Marvel references.
Yes, yes.
Hysterical. It's funny as hell. The only thing I don't like it, again, for me, it's a 4 out of 5. they spent too much time with Fire Fist, the kid.
Right.
I think they spent too much time on that character. But that's me.
Well, it's sort of like we said. I enjoyed it. I thought it was as funny as the first one. The first one was really funny because I never expected those jokes. But as soon as they started telegraphing them, I started laughing. This was funny. Not as funny as the first, but because I wasn't expecting that. This
Right.
one, I really started expecting the humor and the jokes, and I thought it was great. It was fine in that regards. But like I said before to you, Frank, in order to be a completely violent film, you got to do it for the children. It's for the children, damn it. It's for the children.
For the children. It's all about
That's
the children.
why you can kill and have so many gunshots and blow people's heads off because of the children.
It's the American way. Infinity War, what I loved about the film, I mean, the film was nearly perfect, except when they got into the Gamora story.
Oh.
That really slowed down the picture for me.
Yeah.
That was my only little tidbit.
I'm
that
not.
was
I'm
wrong.
not a. I'm not a Gamora fan. And and there was this kid next to me. As soon as she died, he was like, "Good, good riddance." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You know, she has a bit of an attitude in the film."
That's funny.
And it's like they say with these people like Josh Gash, if I'm pronouncing it, Jod Gak, right? Gag or whatever. You know, he knows how to play like a real hole. I'm sorry to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And certain people do. It comes off, and they say it doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you can sense it, it's because it's there. And they said that the Gamora character seems like she is walking around with a stick.
Yeah, well, that's Zoe Saldana, is pretty charming in her own way. But
Okay.
But that's a character.
Yeah,
But,
charming.
I wasn't.
She has that restraining order charm to her.
Yeah.
Don't get near me, or I swear to God, I'll make you regret it.
So, in 2 weeks, we're going to find out if the Avengers is going to take out Force Awakens and Titanic.
Ooh, I think it will.
But you're right, but it's not going to beat Avatar. Avatar is the #1 picture worldwide. Star Wars is the #1 U.S. box office all-time champ. I don't think it's going to beat that. It needs over 900 million. Can Infinity War do that?
And you're a YouTube subscriber, like it. We're almost out of time, but we're going to do 10 more minutes for YouTube. Please subscribe. Please like. Do it for us. Do it for the children.
Okay, this section is going to go on YouTube, and we're going to continuing on the box office thing.
Yeah, we have 10 more minutes before we're done.
Okay.
And then we're going to do 10 more minutes for YouTube.
Everybody, thanks for watching the show for the past 30 years. I really appreciate it.
We love
man.
you.
Thank you. All right, I think we're off the air now?
Yeah, we're off the air. Now this is for YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, for those who are watching on YouTube now, I don't know when I'm coming back. Got some bummer news from about family down in Puerto Rico. So, Mark is going to be taking over the show. For the
God, I
next
hope
couple shows.
I could, if I had, someone as good as you to work with, it would go smoothly. But,
Thank you.
we're going to do a lot of stretching.
Well, you know what? They just we'll do repeats and just take a break in August because there's nothing in August. What's coming out? The Meg, the giant shark movie?
Which shark?
That's the highlight in August.
There's a giant shark movie?
Yeah, giant shark. It's not Sharknado. It's actually just instead of like Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. This one has to do with a Jurassic shark.
Jesus Christ! We've sunk so low.
I read the book like 10, 15 years ago, and it was copied from Jurassic Park when it came out.
Oh, my God.
And it took them this long to do it. Jason Statham is doing it.
Maybe because everybody was saying it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I think they finally got around to this damn movie.
Maybe because they have the money and they got to use it in the budget. If they don't, they'll never get that amount of money again.
Yeah, because I remember getting the book from the library. It was out about a year, and it was told, soon to be a major motion picture. Yeah, that was like 15 years ago, and they finally got around to making it. But, I mean, that's the highlight in August, so anyway. So let's talk about the box office real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because what happened was, when we were away, I was surprised Black Panther hit #3.
Why?
On the U.S. charts. It's it's #3, the
I
highest.
would think it would. I would think it would have scored a lot like that because it's sort of like the first movie in a long time that's been able to come out like the cast where they're almost celebrating, this type of tradition. Like those movies used to sort of be popular with an all African American cast, like Superfly, the exploitation films of the 70s, and that's popular. And those people are still around. Those guys who used to love to watch those exploitation films from the 70s,
right.
the Kung Fu films, going to 42nd Street, they're still around. They're our generation. They haven't died out. They were in
right.
that theater with us, experiencing the worst of it all of New York during the time we were experiencing. I saw a lot of those guys in Deadpool. They were showing up to Deadpool and they were laughing their rear ends off because they loved this type. Deadpool was really exploitative. It had that exploitative feel. They loved it. They kept talking about political correctness in the film, and they were having a ball with it. They were just laughing rolling their butts off on the aisle because they're just like us. They're guys who were brought up in the 70s. They're Generation X, and they think this is hysterical. They're laughing at it.
It's funny because there's that TV show that I was on. I had a bit part, and it was with James Franco, The Deuce, and a lot of us they wanted older people, and we remembered how it was back in the 70s. And they they had all these old cars. They had us. Some of the guys had the afros on and everything, like the long sideburns and the coats with the big collars and everything. And I remember looking on the floor and I asked one of the guys, said, "You were around the 70s?" He says, "Yeah." There was no color newspaper. There was actually newspaper, but it was in color. They didn't have color newspaper back in the 70s.
Nope.
So the Deuce is trying to be, trying to be a hip and. But they missed a couple of details because, you just had to be there.
Yeah.
If you go before 12 o'clock, you would see a double feature movie. For 99 cents, you would see, Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee and Slaughter's big ripoff, So you have a karate / kung fu movie with a black exploitation movie. You double header for 99 cents if you got there before 12. In the summer,
wow.
the theater was packed because there
was nothing else to do. Air conditioning.
Air conditioning, yeah.
Yeah, in the 70s, even
though
though
we used to talk back to the screen.
Yeah, even though we were in New York, it's like they say. I like to say this is what I like to say. It's one of the realest cities. It's not as real as Chicago because it got too real. You know what I mean?
Right.
With the violence, but we're real in the sense that you can believe what people say. You can see them if they're BSing you. It's real. We're talking to each other with no facade. We're being real with each other, and that's what I'm saying. These are the things that even though there were so many things to do in the city, a lot of us didn't have that much money, so we would do the same thing. Central Park, or you end up in a theater with air conditioning.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yep.
Before it became Disney-fied.
The Disney wasn't bad. The thing I'm sorry I didn't sell people out there. The thing that's kind of bad is the tourist.
And it's overcrowded with tourists.
My God, that's why people avoid 42nd Street.
Yeah, that's what they made it into. They made it for the tourists, not for the
New Yorkers, of course. That's fine.
But,
if they want to do it for them, I don't even need to go to 42nd Street.
Okay, so let me finish up with the box office.
Yes, sir.
What's going to happen? Well, believe it or not, Black Panther became the number 3 all-time picture in the U.S. and it's still in the top 10 worldwide. But will the Avengers Infinity War, would it beat that? It's got to beat that, number 3, and then it's got to beat Titanic. It did beat Titanic. It's got to beat Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which is number 1, and Avatar, which is number 2. Now, that's in the U.S. Now, worldwide, it's got to beat Avatar. Basically, the top 3 pictures, whether international or the U.S., is basically The Force Awakens, The Titanic, and Avatar. Worldwide, Avatar and Infinity War will have to make another $1 billion to tie Avatar, which is not going to happen.
Wow.
Some comic book fans, I'm just glad that it might beat Star Wars: The Force Awakens because a lot of people just hate. I mean, the hate for that movie is unbelievable.
Yeah, because a lot of people of our generation, as soon as they saw the movie, you were able to tell, wait a minute, this is nothing but a repeat of A New Hope.
Yeah, we got.
And remember when I said that, and we got a lot of hate, and you were saying I'm crazy, and that wasn't true, and then little by little, people, J.J. Abrams, admitted it. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It was a tip to the hat, an homage.
Yeah.
He calls it an homage, rip-off homage.
Well, same thing. Last Jedi. I mean, you had hints of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But instead of the little Ewoks, we got those little birds.
Ugh, they were awful.
And then, of course,
the Pogues.
Instead of being snow, it was salt in Last Jedi. But that was the opening sequence to Empire Strikes Back with the fighting in the snow and stuff like
reverse.
that. What's going to happen is if Han Solo does huge, which it will, Disney's betting on that. We're gonna get Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's the other one? Boba Fett. They've been mentioning it.
Yeah, Boba Fett. People would be definitely interested in it. Like I was saying before, people are interested because remember, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Disney, and Star Wars is trying to make Star Wars for the new generations. Okay, but in reality, they got to consider our look into it. The things that we found interesting about it, the next generation's going to like it too. If you displease Generation X and push them off and say we're going to go for the millennials, you got to remember the people who have deeper pockets is Generation X. Sort of like the baby boomers had deeper pockets than us, we have deeper pockets than the millennials. And if you push us away, you're going to lose big in the numbers game. When it comes to the end game, you're going to lose us. Because a lot of us are going towards Marvel, the universe, and saying, this is what I like. I don't like Star Wars anymore. It's not for me. Like we were saying that the first time we were introducing each other and talking about the screen. We're saying, goodbye, fanboys. They don't want you here. And that's Star Wars and Disney's attitude. We don't want you fanboys. Okay, you don't want me? You don't want my money? You don't want my deep pockets? Then I'll take my deep pockets to your next franchise, which is Marvel. I'll take my money out and throw it at them. I'll buy the DVDs. Look at you. You bought the DVDs. You think a millennial will buy a DVD? No.
Nope.
They don't buy DVDs.
Nope.
You'll buy the toys. You'll buy the DVDs. You'll buy everything that attracts you about the characters. Millennials don't do that because they don't have the money. Very few of them have the money to do that. And they probably won't. They don't have that deep pockets because there's not that many jobs out there. Sorry.
And the other thing is they're going to lose us anyway.
Yeah.
And that's because of old age.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They don't care.
Once we go in the 60s, we're
dead.
We retired.
Yeah. But
60s, 70s, and that says, I remember when I used to see Star Wars.
Yeah. I if they don't bring back Darth Vader, if they don't bring that story, that prequel. And what do you call that? Yoda, Darth Vader, Boba Fett. The people, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The people who I'm interested in, I'm sort of pretty much walking away. Slowly, I'm walking away. I think that after The Force Awakens, or better yet, after those first 3 bad prequels, I walked away, and they sort of brought me back with
Rogue One.
Yeah, with Rogue One, because it was sort of at the theme that we like it, but Force Awakens pushed me a bit away because I like this is not Star Wars for me, and Last Jedi they pushed me away even further where I'm like, yep, this is not for me anymore.
For me is the characters are bland. I couldn't care less about any of these characters.
Because they acquired a power like that.
I mean, nobody really dies in these movies like Infinity War. People were crying. What Spider-Man said, his last famous line.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, man.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You probably don't have the money.
Either that or you're just not a comic book fan. But anyway.
They probably aren't.
But these characters die and people felt something because you could relate to that to a Spidey,
Mm-hmm.
And Last Jedi, you couldn't relate to anybody. I mean,
The last one was Han Solo when they killed him, and he probably said, "Thank you. Now that you're dead, you don't have to show up to the Last Jedi."
Yeah.
And I bet you even Mark Hamill was saying, "Oh my God, they ruined my Luke. Maybe they should have killed me off, so I wouldn't have to continue with this."
They were mentioning it about him coming back as a ghost Jedi.
A Force ghost?
A Force ghost. And,
if he's lucky, he should probably walk away from this and say, "This is not for me."
Hopefully the one. He was bitching, complaining about the character. So I mean, But even then, even when his character dies, something was lost. You didn't feel it. When the characters died in Infinity War, you felt something, even though you know for a fact. Wait a second, that guy just died. He just turned into the. Wait a second, doesn't he have a 3-picture deal with Disney Marvel to do more pictures?
Oh, they always do. It's just. No, it's. I heard that.
That's the first thing I was
No,
I was thinking when I sit in there.
Disney.
Not that I feel bad, but I'm saying, wait, he's coming back in the
No, but Disney always does that. Disney did that with the cast of Rogue One. Are they going to do Rogue One too?
They could.
Okay, I'd like to see that.
Well, that's what we
How are you going to do that?
Show. What's his name? Jon Favreau. He's going to be directing, writing, and producing, and a bunch of other shit. The new Star Wars TV show, which takes place between the Jedi. Is that right? Jedi. Yeah,
the Clone
Jedi
Wars.
And the Force. No, Clone Wars was between the prequels and then Rogue One, right?
Right.
That's the Clone Wars. That's what that.
Rogue One's not the Clone Wars. Rogue One is way before, way after the Clone Wars.
Okay, so the Clone Wars is part of the Phantom Menace trilogy.
Right. It's part of It's part of what do you call that? Obi-Wan Kenobi's journey.
Okay, right. Okay, so they explored that already. Jon Favreau is what happened after Jedi. How the Empire became what you call it, the First Order. Jon Favreau is going to do that for TV. And supposedly a lot of these characters are going to be coming back and cameos. I don't know how they're going to, maybe they'll replace Han Solo, young Carrie Fisher. I don't know. But but he's gonna do all that, and so they're gonna be exploring some of those facts on the TV show. Something George Lucas had in mind about 10, 15 years ago, and
because you got to remember,
he commissioned the scripts, but he couldn't afford to film them.
Well, you got to remember this, George Lucas or Disney, that you're doing these shows for Generation X, because they say that we're basically the generation. Once we go away, these are dead franchises. Star Wars will be a dead franchise, and even they're saying Star Trek is a dead franchise. Because we're the generation that are propping that up. And when they started putting stuff behind paywalls, a lot of us, walked away.
Oh, you mean like Discovery?
Yes. What do you call it? They called it STD, Star Trek, ST and D Discovery. Yeah, STD.
Okay.
It's like a big STD.
But the thing about the Star Trek is now they have that other generation, the next generation of Star Trek fans who grew up with that and not necessarily with Captain Kirk. So this generation
we're the generation. There's no other generation who was fixated on Star Trek more than us.
The next generation is.
No, the next generation, we were still there. We're the ones with deep pockets. You're still talking about Generation X.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're the ones with deep pockets. The millennials didn't grow up with the next generation. You talk to a millennial about next generation, they go, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah, but
we thought it was good.
But you still got in the millennials. They still got a fan base on all these movies and stuff like that.
We're the ones with the deep pockets. They got to wake up and realize that. We're the ones with deep pockets. We're the ones buying the DVDs. We're the ones buying the action figures. Sure, and the majority of people you see in the Funko Pops, they're the people with the deep pockets.
Right.
Okay, there might be some people who are using their parents' money to buy the Funko Pops, but that's because they're Generation X and say, "Oh yeah, I know that character, that character." That's okay, buy those characters.
As a matter of fact, I forgot to mention the Godzilla community, which is still up and running, and that I made up on Google Plus, and a lot of them are saying, "Damn, I wish I can afford this." And that's all the
that stuff
ones.
Expensive. That's like
those
figures are like $100. Even when we were kids, and they had like the AT-AT. Those things back then was like $100. That was a lot of money back then. Now you can get an AT-AT for the same price, even $50.
$50, yeah.
And back then, $100 back in our time was almost as if you wanted $500.
Right.
It was $500 for an AT-AT. And now it's like $50. It's almost as if you said back in our time, it's $20.
Yeah.
Oh, $50, here you go. But now we're walking away.
I remember I still got the AT&T in the original box. That one stayed home. That one did not get shipped overseas to get Game Maria. That one I still got. I remember I paid about $100 for that.
That was like $500 you paid for back then.
No, I
That
paid
was a lot of money. No, I'm saying $100 in
right,
that
compared-
time
at that
is
time,
compared
right.
to $500. It's sort of like when you bought the Atari system.
Adjusted for inflation.
Yes, Atari system was $100.
Yeah.
For my father, that was a lot of money
Yeah,
back then when you bought
I
that.
remember the Sega Genesis. They all, man, those were fun times though, man.
Yeah. And remember, that's all us.
No, you got the which they re-released the system, right? Like for $80, he said you brought it on Amazon.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
like this time you brought
That
it?
was the Super Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo.
Right.
Okay. So they took all the games and squeezed it onto one console.
Not all the games. They took a few licensed games. I think like maybe allegedly 80 games or 40 games, and they put it into that system.
Okay. The good old days, you had to buy this machine separate, which would be about $200,
Uh-huh.
and then every brand new video game was $30, $40 each.
Yeah, they would go up to 60.
They would go up to 60. I remember
That was a
playing,
lot of money.
a friend of mine, he went to the war, he didn't make it back,
Oh.
and I remember he when he was a kid, he bought he was showing me the Super Nintendo, and when he first got it, he's really big on video games. He had like
I was a Sega Genesis guy.
Yeah, me too. And I remember he was showing me how to play the Star Wars games. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and I think they came out with Jedi. I remember doing Empire Strikes Back where you would have to do these backflips. And
Oh,
you had to press A, B, Z,
Oh,
Y.
my God.
to
That's one of the
maneuver
reasons
to
why I
bring it.
hated-
Pain in the
Oh my God,
ass.
that was one of the reasons why I hated Super Nintendo.
Because you had too many
they
buttons.
too many buttons. They would slowly grind you. It was grinding. If Sega Genesis, boom, 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 playing. My favorite games were the just punch, sock, and that's it. Kick, punch, continue. But Super
Sonic
Nintendo, they would get into elaborate things, sort of like what they do now with the PlayStations, where the game is so elaborate, like I don't want to waste my time. It takes you just 10 minutes just to start up the game,
Yeah.
to go into a backstory. And I want to sometimes I want to put myself out of my misery, because back then you played Sega Genesis, game, no intro, played the game, enjoyed it, 8 hours maximum, and you were done.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you can do work on these PlayStation games. That's why I'm basically walking away from this stuff, because it's like you can put in 70 hours a week on this thing and still not finish.
My friend Jimmy, when I left and I came back, he's still playing this game Destiny.
Yeah, it's a forever game.
It's a forever game. It's like
You're never gonna finish
you
until you get bored, and you will just walk away.
And I say, man, I got too much on my plate over here, you know.
Oh, we got to wrap it up because, we're not gonna have enough time.
I mean, if you got time for that, more power to you.
I got no time for that. I have a job.
I got a life.
Yeah, I got a life, man. Forget the virtual world.
That's not sometimes which is not fun, but that's the way life is. Okay, what we got? Look at the clock.
Yep. We
that's
better wrap it up.
Yeah, because somebody else is coming in.
Adios.
Okay, so. Thanks for tuning in for the past 30 years. Thank you for tuning in
Yes.
on the YouTube channel over here
Yes,
and watching
please.
us.
Subscribe, like, put the alert, do whatever you can. Support us. Do it for the children.
Do it for the children. And one last thing, don't forget about my blog, and I'll have more pictures of that Star Wars memorabilia. Let me see if I can show you another one real quick. Let me see. Horse Ice Planet Adventure Set. You ever see that one?
Oh, yes. Is that made out of cardboard?
No, the cheapest plastic you can imagine.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Even the ATs
No, because
were,
the
it was
things are-
expensive, but it was kind of cheap. Like like one of the legs would just like roll up and the whole thing would fall over.
Yeah.
I hated that. When I remember I saw the demo, I was like, I don't want that garbage.
And the Rancor Monster.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Rancor Monster, yeah.
Yep.
And it's original box, and believe me, these things are inside the box.
Sell it. Sell it now before they ruin it.
It has so many memories, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you got to sell it. Get the money. Get out before it's a dead franchise.
I'm surprised that the stuff survived. Well, you calling Star Wars a dead franchise, I think Star Wars is going to continue to next generation.
Well, they're saying Star Trek's a dead franchise already.
But they sell a lot of merchandise, so somebody's out there,
Yeah, but no one
supporting
wants
this.
to see the shows. All right, adios.
Um,
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
That's been Frank. I'm Mark. Adios. Support us, please.
See you the next time around. Okay, guys.
Adios.
Take care. And may the force be with you.
Nanu, nanu.
Can you do that? Just to be a stinker. Okay.
I guess we wrap it up.
Yep. We're gonna copy this. I'm recording, I guess.
Yes.